Love stone, Clocktime. Like a wounded shipwrecker hidden in a dark and cold cave, I felt an emotional disorientation that pushed me to crawl into a corner and fill me with alcohol. I felt like the last survivor in a dead and ruined city. He was a used man, discarded and valiant, and with a dark shadow growing in me, a hard resentment, a cold hatred wrapped me like black flames. And loneliness, definitive as a broken glass, became a deaf and permanent pain. In my eyes, love and friendship were luxurious pieces of museum, like fabulous statues with gems eyes, beautiful, splendid, and perfect. Like dry stones, empty and dead. In a forgotten corner of the city, where the shadows spread like clutches, lived a wounded man. His heart, once full of hope and passion, now lay broken and disappointed. Nameless in an emotional shipwreck in a sea of loneliness, with his eyes lost at the bottom of his glass of whiskey. The city that once was vibrant and full of life now stands as a monument to desolation. Dirty buildings and streets, insulting graffiti listening to lost love and broken dreams. He felt like the last survivor in a world that had stopped beating. He had loved with the passion of a poet and the intensity of a flaming comet. But his love had been used, discarded like a broken toy. The shadow of that betrayal grew in him, a cold resentment that enveloped him like black flames. Solitude was his constant companion. He grabbed him like a broken glass, clinging to his skin with every breath. The nights were worse. Without sleeping in her bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering if she would ever again feel the warmth of another heart beside her own. In his mind, love and friendship seemed to be mocking his loneliness. As the night rain hit the windows, he made a decision. He went out on the street, with an empty heart on his chest. He walked to the bridge that crossed the river, the same bridge where he had once kissed his beloved. He looked at the dark and turbid water, wondering if the leap would be his release. But something stopped him. A soft thought, a whisper of ideas in the breeze. "It's not your time yet," he thought. He turned around, there was nobody. Only rain and darkness. He left the alcohol in the cupboard and crawled under his blankets. There was still loneliness, but there was also a spark of red and black inside. Maybe, just maybe, there's something beyond nothing. Without hope, without redemption, the broken glasses of his heart that had already been wounded, were broken and no way to go back. He continued to live. Every day was a struggle against sadness, without an opportunity to find the light. Maybe someday, no day, in a forgotten corner of the city, I would find a new love, no love, not a new real friendship. And his broken heart would not heal, even as a glass carefully glued. It didn't end on that bridge. He continued his own exploration of the darkest corners, with no flashes of hope. Because in the universe of exhausted possibilities, the hearts broken by the black fire of pain, no longer seek their way back to the light, lost in the darkness. Continued with sadness and loneliness. And the black spark burning inside, would never be an easy way. He began to visit the libraries and, surrounded by shelves full of knowledge, found a false consolation. One evening, while he was reading a book, he found a note twisted between the pages. He said, "Time is a river, and we are the stones." He did not fully understand its meaning, but something in those words resounded with pain in his broken heart. The weeks turned into months, and a search followed. He visited uninterested places, walked through muggy streets and looked through broken windows in an unconscious search, and continually returned to the present, alone and disappointed. One day, in a reflection in the mirror, he saw something different. His eyes shone, shining with the determination of the black fire. "I had accepted that I could not change the past, but maybe I could change the future." He stopped looking for signals and started creating them. He helped others, shared his story, and listened to theirs. It became a beacon of hope for those who had also lost their way. And loneliness remained there, like a deaf and permanent pain. That pushed him to move forward even if he didn't find any sense. He never found love or redemption, and there were no magic solutions. But he discovered something, his ability to resonate in others, reminding them that they were alone. And so he continued his journey in the soul, in the dark nights, and in the cold. Time was a river, and he was a stone that rolled in its course, cutting its own way to conclude its tragedy. End. Thank you.